what we got going on here is just a random place that I put the camera. It actually worked out pretty good for what I got going on here because you get to see a little bit of the mess that I have. But I'm going to be in the process of fixing the transmission for my T-Maxx. And while I'm at it, I might as well go through a little bit of a spiel on how I got the screen name ProMaxx316. I should put the keyboard right there. Um, how I got the screen name ProMaxx316, and it's actually related to the RC cars. So what we have here, this big behemoth here, is the OG first generation Traxxas T-Maxx, and I've owned it since it first came out, and I've modified it over the years from being just a regular stock .15 cubic inch engine that they had to what you see it today. Has Pro line suspension, XTM 21 conversion, .21 as in the engine size itself, and it just progressed. And this hobby actually helped me go through a lot of learning experience of tuning two strokes. So what we're going to do here is the transmission, the spur gear is shot. Or actually, I can't say the spur gear is shot. It is pretty chipped up, but I haven't driven this truck in about 3 or 4 years, and I'm gonna fix it up and romp on it because coronavirus, the way how it works out, you get bored, and me, I don't want to cut my hair because I really don't want to mess that up. So I'm gonna fix this truck, get this back out on the road, and enjoy it. So what I've already replaced, I already replaced the servos. I had a high-tech MG high torque for the steering, and I had a standard Futaba for the throttle and brake. I replaced those with Savox, however you want to pronounce it. Currently, the steering is not connected. That's all right. I gotta wait till I get a servo saver for that. I'm using my old Spectrum radio, old school, discontinued. They don't make it no more, unfortunately. And what I'm going to do today is I already threw out the card with the part number, but I got a bag of goodies. I'm upgrading it to a more updated spur gear compared to what's in there now, and it is called the Torque Control Slipper Clutch. So we're going to toss that in there. I already read the instructions, and I'm actually going to have to put my headset down because I forgot one vital tool that I need. So, tools needed. We need some Allens. We need a Phillips head. Now I'm using a small boy. Using small boy Phillips. A little bit of a bigger handle, but just to have a little bit of variety. Got a little flathead. And that's pretty much about it. That should be all I need to get this all set. So let's get started. Oh, a little adult beverage. So let's get started. Let's move the mouse out of here. I don't think we're going to need you. So now, story time. How did I get the name ProMaxx316? So many years ago, I actually started into the RC cars, and I started with RC cars on the on-road category. Um, I started out, my first RC car was a HPI RS4, ready to run, on-road vehicle. And I think within my first, gotta give, I think my first 2 or 3 months of owning it, I think I went through 2 or 3 motors because I was just way too impatient for everything. I just literally went through motors left and right because I just didn't want to take my time to break them in, and I just blew them up. But actually, Now, I know one thing that I remember on this T-Maxx. I think I only have like about 4 screws holding this transmission in. It's supposed to have 8. They do make new cases for it, but I don't feel like buying it because it's the nostalgia for this thing. So continuing on, after the HPI RS4, I realized that on-road was extremely expensive. On-road racing and it was fun as hell, but I was literally going through tires left and right, and I just got fed up with it. And thus, Tiraxis was throwing out their teasers of having a monster truck with reverse, tons of suspension travel, etc., etc. Surprisingly, I got 4 screws here on the top row. I think at some point in time I must have put some screws in there. So I knew when I saw the teasers for this truck, I wanted it, and I saved up every little penny that I had. Ended up getting the truck, and I've had a blast. From at that time, I learned how to break in motors. I learned how to tune, and I knew at that point I just don't want to blow motors up. I just want to have a blast. Fast forward a little bit after having a truck, racing it around, I started actual racing, like no more backyard bashing. I live in Connecticut, and there was a track in New Milford. I don't remember the exact name of the place. Now this is gonna be the fun part because I have to get the drive shaft out there. Get this out, and boom, transmission's already out. Now what I got to be careful with is not to lose the screws. So, and surprisingly, I actually had at the time I only had 4 screws holding it, but now I'm pushing the screws down so that way I don't lose them on the floor, because the truck doesn't have to be up here anymore. That screw's in there, that one ain't coming out, but that's all right. All right, so back to what I was saying. I was racing, and I was actually racing the T-Maxx, and at the time for the magazine era, you had uh, oh, inside this transmission is crunchy. Looks like we're gonna be doing a little bit of diagnostics, find out why it's a little crunchy. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Let's find out what's going on in there. So I was racing with the guys from RC Car Action. One of probably the well-known names, Greg Vogel, and they had a T-Maxx class at this track in New Milford. Should I zoom in? Let me see if I can zoom in on this. Give me a minute. We need that right there. We need that there. This. Ooh. Now you know what? We'll let it ride like this, just so that we got nice wide angle action. Um, Racing with Greg Vogel. I don't remember I think there was a guy Hastings. I don't know, couple of guys, real great guys. Um, and it was just super knowledgeable, great track, great off-road track, and on a trophy race. It was my first trophy race that I was entering in. Uh, that was when my T-Maxx was starting to die. Now, mind you, I'm gonna get to the point of where I'm called ProMaxx316. Uh, so again, message boards. I was having problems and stuff like that. My engine was starting to die out. I decided to go again. No guts, no glory. No pun on our name. And oh, hang on here. Gonna do a little fixing here. There we go. While I was, and I'm gonna be going on my phone for a minute here because I'm gonna check my messages and stuff. Uh, while I was taking care of a couple of stuff, and my truck was like starting to die out a little bit, that's when I decided to just no guts, no glory. I went, bought some 30% fuel, and sent it. And there was a jump nobody was trying to clear it. It could have been like a double and single, or you could just no fear and triple it. When I had the 30% fuel with the engine dying out, I was clearing the triple the whole time, but every couple of laps you would see that it was starting to fall short every time, and I'm just like, yeah, this motor's done. So I ended up getting a trophy for the third place headache award, and I took it. That was fine. There was no problem with that because I had fun. It was, again, that's what racing is. So down to the message boards. Oh, and that day I actually won another RC car because they had a raffle. What's a good mixed drink? Uh, can't go wrong with Jack and Coke. Uh, JMO Ginger, and what else can we got? Jack and Coke, JMO Ginger, Tito's, and Seltzer. Change the title. What's the title at? Crunker. Shouldn't say Crunker. How the hell do I change my title here? I'm already streaming, bro. I'm not a pro streamer. Johnny Shirts, lead me the way. Show me the way. How do I change my title when I'm already streaming? Should be on Streamlabs. I am on Streamlabs. Themes, Cloudbot, App Store, or on the Twitch dashboard. Ah, uh-huh, uh-huh. You know what? We'll do that right on the phone because I don't even know why it says Crunker because it shouldn't say Crunker. Dashboard. Settings. No. Pro Streamer Life. Fixing my T-Maxx. There we go. And done. Category. Just chatting. Update information. All right, how's that? How's that look, Johnny boy? How does that look? Better? Better. Bent. All right. So where did I leave off? On Uncle Raul's story, Uncle ProMaxx. So what about Ciroc? Well, again, Ciroc, vodka. Again, I'm having a little backwards. Flying Dog, The Truth. Oh wait, hang on, I gotta. It's actually not bad. All right, dude. Again, go with the classics: Jack and Coke, JMO Ginger, Tito's and Seltzer, or vodka and seltzer. All right, so back to what I was saying on the story thing. I started racing, and then how I got the name ProMaxx316. Ooh, I see some gear chunks in here. Oh, so you was giving me the problems. That's why I stopped driving this truck. So check this out. So we have, so this is the inside of a T-Maxx transmission, and this is the two-speed. I did the Metal Gear conversion on it. Has some plates, but we got a little, plastic there, little plastic, and that is why this gear was so crunchy. That's why I stopped driving this bad boy. Put that there. Dude, I romped the hell out of this truck, man. So luckily, but the two-speed survived. That survived. What I'm replacing is this bad boy in there. Let's take a look at that. You can see the teeth missing on one of those. This is, I'm getting some text messages here, so let me answer these real quick. The slipper clutch. So we got the slipper clutch. And the job of this is when you're doing jumps, landing, doing God knows what. The job of it is to actually slip. And when it slips, then it minimizes the shock going to the wheels and everything, and it tries to keep your gears from surviving. Because I put the 21 conversion on it, if you look, I got that spring full tilt. I pegged the bitch. So basically, I wanted no slip, and lo and behold, shit blows up. So, but now again, continuing on, you can see that's that bad boy's not straight anymore. So I got to the name as you hear me saying my T-Maxx. My screen name actually started out as Mighty Max 316, as in Mighty Max with two X, because that was my T-Maxx. Play on words. I should be a rapper. After that, I was answering questions with a lot of people on the forums when that needed help with tuning or needed help with fixing the inside of these transmissions, because not too many people wanted to open them, because the truck used to have reverse. This used to be the reverse gear in here, but I took out the gears in there because you just blew them up every time. If you had big power, these transmissions were blowing up. So that's why I got the metal gears in it. And I never did the metal spur gear because I at least wanted some type of failure point with the plastics. Um, but that's neither here nor there. So after answering a whole bunch of questions, helping kids out and stuff, or I was a kid and helping them out, we got to the point where one kid uh, was messaging me and he wasn't able to get a solid answer of trying to get his truck tuned. And I said, "The hell with it, I'll give it a shot. Like, what problems are you having?" And the kid was like, "Well, I got the problem. I'm trying to get it tuned. It's not running properly. Blah blah blah. Why am I saving this clip? This thing is broken." And I said, "Don't worry, I got you. What's the car doing? How is this happening?" And we were having back and forth messages on maxtrax.com. The site is no longer existing. Going back and forth, and we were just chit chatting away, trying to figure it out. And I started telling him, I said, "All right, start here. Fix this. Go out there, give it a run. Tell me what's happening. Go get new glow plugs." It was just, I literally spent a lot of time talking to the kid, never seen the truck in person. And lo and behold, after conversation back and forth, he got the truck running and he goes, "Dude, nobody was able to answer it. Nobody wanted to give me the time." And boom, he was happy that the truck was running. And he goes, "Dude, you're a pro." He goes, "You're a pro on the T-Maxx." And ever since then, ProMaxx has been my name. The 316, who didn't want to do any Stone Cold Steve Austin and add 316 at the end of anything on their names? So, and it stuck. I got to get one more tool, so hold. All right. So I lied about the other tools that I need because I need to crack open this bad boy, because we need a 7 mil. I'll put that back down on the floor. So the other main reason, I personally thought that I had a bad spur gear, which I do have. Let's see if we can get that focused on there. Right here, we got a bad spur gear. Um, I thought it was the spur gear, and I said, "You know what? I'm tired of using this slipper clutch because, again, I got the spring pegged out. It uses these, it doesn't use a bush. It doesn't use a bearing. It uses like a bushing, and these pegs, um, they wear out fairly quickly. And when they wear out, they end up riding on the plastic, and then you end up slipping again. And that's why I'm getting rid of it." So, ooh, is this seized? I think it's seized. And if it is, that's not good. Nope, there it is. So, ooh. Oh man, that chewed up pretty bad. Man, I blew the shit out of this gear. Well, that's what happens when you have big block power on the old transmission. So that's how I got the name ProMaxx. And again, it's stuck. So now, let's get the new gear back in. That was supposed to go in the garbage and fall on the floor. Just checking out. Ooh, that spins good. Those bearings, those bearings were holding on. So literally, so as you can see, that's actually a pretty quick swap once I get everything taken apart. Ooh, excuse me. Pretty quick setup. It's just literally you're removing this gear because if we take a close look and we can do a comparison, this one uses more like a kind of like a hex. And again, here is your slipper plates, your disc, and the spur gear. It's literally just that hex that goes in there onto the actual shaft. Come on, focus. But anyway, I'm changing over to this one. I'm changing over to this, and I'll show you once I get it assembled on why this is the better version. So once I got the shaft entered back in there, like I said, I already got the only thing that's basically plastic in this transmission now is primary. This is the 2-speed transmission. And then the metal gears, because these were known as the primary gears. Think of it kind of like a, oop, I'm way too high. Think of it kind of like a transfer case. So I'm transferring the power from here down, and this is what goes to the front rear drive shaft. And I was blowing these bad boys left and right too. So that's why I'm putting them in the metal gears. But again, the main purpose of the plastic for me as well was a failure point. So because those plastic gears are still available. So we reassemble. Give it a little spin. Ah, no more crunchy. Ah, that's nice. Now we just get these screws back together. I did take a look at the instructions just to get an overview on it, but I knew what I had to do on here. I knew what needed to be replaced. Let's keep going here. I know I had some music playing. I want to put the music, but I got to work on getting the balance figured out because I think the music was way too loud. It'll be like super loud for you guys, but quiet for me, or vice versa. I'm also looking here on my computer to see if anybody else is chatting around. Ooh, ooh. Come on, baby. Ooh. Always good to try to keep the screws somewhat organized here. Like, luckily, this little screwdriver is working out pretty good for me. And now I gotta try to find out a little karaoke action. Ooh, that's a stripped screw. That was alright. Got a whole bunch of other ones holding it here. I might actually reference back to the instructions once I got all this reassembled. So, all right, we got no crunchiness. That's good. Let's get this back in. I need Loctite, which I got sitting in here. Always got to have a little bit of Loctite. I like to shake it up just a pinch. Get a little dab on there. Oh, gotta trim the tip. Thinking like, why the hell ain't coming out? Don't need much, one little drop. Let's see. No. So the XTM conversion kit that I have on here, again, very old. Make sure that's in there good, because I don't want that bad boy flying out. I'm actually going to dabble a little Loctite on here too. No, that's in there. That's in there. That ain't going nowhere. It's old, and some of the stuff like this, the chassis no longer made anymore. The suspension no longer made anymore. So just got to keep an eye on that. So now we're getting to the juicy part, where for most it might be a little scary. We're getting to where all the stuff is nice and tiny. Just that. I'm actually sorting it out. So bear with me on that. That goes there. Locker. Friction peg. This friction peg got a little fuzz on here. Peg. Peg. Boom. That's the old one. Don't need that. So I know the friction peg, it's got a little defect on there. That's why we have the hobby knife. This is where the hobby gets fun. There we go. You have to alter a little bit of new parts that you get. But I figured with the whole COVID thing, this truck, I was just going to leave this truck sitting around, not doing anything with it. Have it as like a little showpiece and stuff like that. But then I just kept looking at it, and I was just like, I got to get this thing back on the road. Almost lost a pin. That goes there. Now, I'm literally just like thinking on what goes where and how. You look like you go here. I read the instructions, but oh yeah. Give me a second. I'm going to reference the instructions right now, just to make sure I'm doing this right. Fellas, do not be afraid to go into the instructions. Boom, boom, boom. Boom. That's that. This plate goes there. We got the friction. The instructions will always guide you. That don't fit there, but you fit in there. Like that. Alright, I got these washers. What are these spring washers for? Ah, I see, says the blind man. I see. So we got you, right, round side out. You go like that. You go like this in there. There we go, baby. We're getting somewhere. Now, do I want to put a little Loctite on these? Yeah, let's put a little Loctite. That's my little Loctite for the system. Too tiny. Let's try this one. Hey, trying to get fancy here, trying to juggle for everybody here. What? Little dab. Don't need much. I don't know if you guys can see. Just a little dab. To the next one. I should have had a nice white piece of paper here, so that way you guys can see all the hardware that I got going on here, rather than little graffiti. But graffiti mouse pad, I would tell you guys where I got it, but I don't even remember where I got it. I know it came all the way from China. Took a little while to get. When I actually got it, I completely forgot that I got it. Just a pinch. I might regret putting a little bit of Loctite on there, but this is actually the spur gear that I use just for when I'm thrashing around with the truck. Evenly get this thing tightened down. Don't want to break anything else because my local hobby store is closed, because the hobby store is not essential. I'm actually checking to make sure it's tightening down nice and even. There we go. Nice and even. Make sure it works its way down to gear. There we go. Now we're bottomed out. Try your best not to use power tools. Some people would try to use power tools. Nothing wrong with it. But it's just one of those things where some metals don't like getting that speed like plastic and stuff. But then again, you could just YOLO it and go for broke. Slide the spur gear in the pressure plate. Next, slide the two bevel washers included onto the slipper shaft. See diagram for correct orientation. Like that, correct orientation. Thread the slipper nut onto the slipper shaft until it provides a slight amount of pressure on the bevel washers. So now we go like, Then we got the two bevel washers. The bevel washers, we want it to be coned out. I definitely can't show you guys this because this will be a toughie. We go in there like that. So now they say to lock the shafts, but I gotta find a way to lock it. And it says to go like this. And then where's my 7mm? Ooh, they changed it. They played me. Congratulations, you played yourself. They bumped up the size to maybe an 8. Yes, 8mm. Bro, how come you're not using a short 8mm? Well, because somebody stole it at my old job. So let's get this tightened up, get this engine this engine back in. Make sure the bevels are right. Start with a soft. Don't want to crank it down too much. I'm trying to give it a little hold. Yeah, we'll see once again. There it is. No more crunchy. So now it should be good. So there it is. I got new. Put those away. So now I have a reassembled transmission. So now let's get this back in the truck. But before I do, let me get this little cocaine portion of broken gears tossed out. Clean your workspace area. And as far as the old gears here, this plate, the spring, the old nut, the old broken gear, trash. We don't need that no more. I'm going to start sneezing in a minute, so I might mute the headset just in case I do. There we go. Now I did a little dab for you guys. So now we are going to put the transmission back in the truck. Just moving the tools that I do not need. I'm missing one. Ah. That goes there. I'm actually going to use the Loctite, and I'm going to show you what for. Always try to keep the tools as organized as possible. Set the Rona out. I know. Don't worry, it's only in the room. I got plenty of cleaning supplies in here. So John, how's the birthday going? Ooh. Now before I do anything, there's actually old plastic from the spur gear because it looks like from when it was sitting, the plastic like somehow got stuck onto the clutch bell here. It's fun. Just got home. Big old bottle of Ciroc. I hope you're not giving the kids a Ciroc. Ooh, damn, that's a big piece. All right, I think we got all the teeth clean here. There we go. That's nice and clean for the clutch bell. Early sleepers tonight. You probably burnt them all out and everything like that. All right. So now, got everything all cleaned up in here. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. So now transmission's going back in. I'm actually amped up to drive this fucking thing again. I'm waiting for a few more things. I got to get some new fuel lines. Got some fresh fuel. Oh, this fucking air filter. That's why I had the air filter that way. So now this is where it gets a little fun because I got to get the drive shaft up enough and actually rotate. Come on, come on. Get in there. There we go. So drive shafts are in. And now some would say it's a no-no. I just realized I'm missing a screw for my damn skid plate back here. Dude, I banged the shit up out of this truck, huh? I just realized one of my ladder bars was missing a screw. Huh. That's okay. Quick fix. We will get that fixed. So now, most people would say, nah, you don't need Loctite with plastic because it fits tight. I actually dabble a pinch on the screws going into plastic because obviously plastic wears out over time. And again, this is an old truck. I want to give it every little bit of hope to hold these screws in there for what they can. I don't put a lot. I just put a little nib, some Ciroc and Sprite. Ooh. Oh, that's not. There's already a screw in that one. Transmission almost fell out. Got to push that back down. So there's, again, like I said, quick little stream to get my feet wet again. See, we got 3 viewers on there. For everybody that's watching, thank you very much. So now we got to push you in. Screwdriver. And this is where the fun part, because I got to make sure drive shaft goes back. And then we just give it the beans. Get one started. The rest will fall right in. Then you don't need to get fancy. You don't need to freaking cross it up or nothing like that. You just fucking send them right in. They'll all catch eventually. I'm going to make a bold statement. And John, you could probably look into this if you're still watching. I think I might be the only person doing RC cars on stream. Maybe. Possibly. Currently. Damn, these screws are going in there pretty nice. Did I get a new case for this event one time? I don't know. Yeah, these screws are going in there nice and tight. Is there a screw in there? Nope. Did I get this one? This one? Yeah, that one's slightly stripping. That's why you put a little Loctite on there. Put a little Loctite. The Loctite will dry up and hold it in there pretty tight. So now, I just realized I am missing. This ladder bar is what holds the transmission. You know, screws go through there. It strengthens the chassis, and it actually keeps the front and rear end from twisting. And I'm missing 2 screws here. Even though you got screws holding in the bulkhead, there's 2 missing here. I got 2 up here. One, I can see it looks like the skid plate hit and damaged it a little bit. So what I'm going to do, because I don't remember what thread that is, there is something that I can maybe sacrifice. Let's do, I'm gonna need my Allen keys back, because I am going to take it one off the top here. And I'll just have to make a trip to Nutty Company. Get a new screw. And we're gonna put, ooh, that's a lot of Loctite. I'm gonna take a little bit off of my fingers there. Wipe that in the garbage can. We're gonna stuff you in there. Just to give you a little hope, just to keep you nice and square. So that's tight. Oh, man, I really banged something good here. So there we go. We got a T-Maxx transmission put back together. Gear mesh can be a little bit better, but that is all nice and tight. Excuse me. So we got that. So there. It's a big behemoth truck. We got to reattach my brake lever here. So stay tuned. I'm definitely thinking about doing another video. I'm going to be changing these wheels just so you can see on how long. Matter of fact, can I pitch this so you guys can see? You're not going to see too much here, but I'm getting the brake lever put back on. I don't know how far. I remember I had this thing at a nice little point, so that way when the servo hit the brakes, it gave it this nice little leverage. I got to readjust that eventually. That don't look right. I'll fix that later. But get that snug. All right, so there we go. So that is changing out to the torque control slipper clutch. So now that's all set. Gear mesh is a bit on the tight side. And next video that I plan on live streaming and getting set up is getting rid of the, I can't tell you how old these tires are, but they actually dry rotted just like on real cars. They're dry rotted and splitting apart. So I'm going to toss you back there. And I will be putting on these bad boys. We're going to get back into the whole racing spirit. Truggy type tires. They're a little bit bigger in diameter, but they're a lot narrower. So we'll see what we get going on there. And once that's all set, I'll get that stream going. And next thing you know, I'll try to do a live stream of me driving this thing. Since I got my tripod, which is what's holding the webcam right now. And once we got that all set, get a little stream going. But for everybody that was watching, thank you very much for watching. I know it was pretty quick, but I got to get my feet wet again and get back in there. And I didn't have to use the bigger screwdriver, so that's meant. So everybody out there, stay safe and don't go too crazy out there. And enjoy the weather. Stay safe from Corona. Practice social distancing. Keep your 6 feet. And for anybody that's out there getting bored, get a hobby. The RC cars has been helping me out. It's not just RC cars, but do a little painting, do a little crochet. I don't know, the thing where you sew and like do some knitting, make a sweater, but do something to keep yourself occupied and reorganize your room. Because if my webcam was in a different position, you would see that my bed was behind me previously. It's not behind me anymore. Clean my room, do away a lot of stuff. But keep it safe, guys. Thank you for watching, and again, be safe. Bye.